Let's start lying down. So coming into your most comfortable position. And if this is not comfortable for the low back to have the legs extended, you might bring the soles of the feet to the earth and then take the soles of the feet wide and then allow the knees to knock in on each other so that they're resting and so that this becomes a restful posture, a restful position in the body. And as you allow the body to settle into the earth, begin to feel into the sensation of the earth rising up to meet you. You might feel into the flatness of the floor, the softness of your mat or your blanket. You might tune into the heaviness of the body. And as you begin to allow awareness to drift inward, letting go of external stimuli, letting go of the to-do list, letting go of all that is on your plate this week. I promise it will be there when we're done. And I invite you to take this time to really just settle into the body, settle into the breath. Allowing your awareness, your attention, your focus to shift to the breath. Just begin to notice the breath. Notice how you're breathing. There's no right or wrong way to breathe. Right, so just notice how long the breath is. You might even count. You might notice the depth of the breath. You might notice how wide the breath breathes into the body. You might also notice that gentle rise and fall. Inhale, filling the body full, lifting up the belly, the chest. Exhaling, finding that letting go sensation, that relaxation that comes with an exhale. An inhale, filling the body full. Exhale, finding a little more softness. And as you continue to bring awareness to the breath, the mind might still wander because that's what it does. And that's okay. But the aim, the goal, is that you continually redirect the attention back to land on the breath. You can almost imagine the breath like an altar, like something physical that you could set the attention on. And we'll start to move into a little breath regulation. So the next time you inhale, I invite you to see if you can bring the breath all the way down into the pelvic floor. And as you exhale, move up the belly all the way to the chest and constrict everything, squeezing out all of the stale air. Inhaling, inviting the breath all the way down to the root of you. Exhaling like you're wringing out a towel, squeezing all of that breath out. We'll take a few more breaths just like this, inviting a full breath in, the diaphragm to expand, the lung to expand. Exhale, drawing in, feeling that squeezing action. 1 or 2 more breaths just like that. And then allow the breath to return in the direction of a natural rhythm, but also invite the breath into the heart center. So allow the heart center to be what collects the breath. Inhaling, feeling the heart expand, the chest widen, the collarbones soften. As you exhale, maybe the back softens into the earth a little more. And as you continue to direct the breath into the heart center, bring to mind or bring to your awareness a challenge or an obstacle that you're facing. And no need to linger in this challenge or obstacle too long. Just become aware of this. And then through the breathing into the heart center, ask the heart, what is it that you would need to move through or move around or get past this obstacle or challenge with a better sense of ease, with a sense of grace? What would bring support and nourishment to you, to your body, your mind, your spirit, and allow you to move through and just see what the heart reveals. And whatever the heart reveals, the intuition reveals, now see if you can take this information and word it in an I am statement. So an I am statement that's in the positive present tense, so that you can call it in as if it were already true. And it could be a simple statement like, I am supported, right? Or it could be more of a phrase, something like, I am focused in all of the work on my plate this week. And as you begin to develop your I am statement, and it feels good, it feels responsive to the heart's calling, repeat your I am statement, your intention, your sankalpa, with the breath to the heart 3 times. And when you've repeated your intention 3 times, let that go and trust, have faith, hold faith that this intention will guide you. It will point your arrow in the direction in which you need to go. We'll open the remaining part of practice with 3 Oms together. You may listen or you may join along. And I know that you're laying down, so sometimes you don't get the full breath to follow with your Om, and that's okay, right? Just if you would like to participate, do what you can and trust that that's enough. Let's take a deep breath in, connecting our breath together. Exhale, let that go. We'll inhale for sound. Allowing the sound of Om to reverberate around and within you, the calling to the true teacher within, our heart. Staying on your back in this space at a little more stillness for just a moment longer. your intention sealed, ready to begin movement, I'd like to invite you to take a body scan before you find movement, from the crown of the head to the soles of the feet, and just take inventory of how the body feels. You might notice areas of tension in the body. You might also notice areas in the body that feel good. And as you arrive to the soles of the feet, one more body scan, this time moving from soles to crown. And I invite you to notice the areas that feel good and see if you can expand those areas on an inhale. And any of those areas that had tension, see if you can soften them with the exhale. So moving up the body with the breath, expanding areas that feel good, softening areas of tightness, of tension. And as you arrive to the crown, we'll invite some gentle movement into the body, opening toes and fingers wide as you inhale. And as you exhale, draw toes and fingers in. Squeeze them in, make fists. Squeeze them in as tight as you can. Inhale to expand wide. See if you can feel into the space between the toes and the fingers. Exhale to draw in. Let's take a couple more just like that. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, reach wide. Exhale, draw in. Beautifully done. Let the toes and fingers soften. Take a round of breath here. Exhale. And on your inhale, roll out the ankles and wrists. And move along with the breath. So we have that tendency to move really quick, right? But see if you can just slow down the action and allow the movement, the action, to ride along with the breath being the guide, the breath being the chariot. One more breath here. And then we'll find some softness in the wrists and the ankles. On your next inhale, reach the body long, send the arms overhead, point through the toes. You might even arch the low back. And with an exhale, draw the right knee into the chest. You might interlace fingers around the shin. And then just move this big femur bone, this big thigh bone around in the socket. Again, moving along with the breath, just starting to feel into sensation, feel into the lubrication that begins to arrive. It's kind of like when we think about or we smell that fresh home-cooked meal and we begin to salivate, right? Moving this bone around, this leg around with gentle breath, with gentle movement, we create that same lubrication in the body, in the joints, pumping up our synovial fluid. Let's take one more breath here. And with your exhale, bring the knee back to center. Release the leg long. Inhale, arms overhead. Another good morning stretch. Big, full breath. Reach the body long. And with that exhale, left knee into the chest. And again, you're finding that movement of the joint. Just exploring, sensing in, allowing the attention to be fully absorbed in breath and in gentle movement. We'll take another breath here, finding some balance, finding some evenness. And then with your exhale, draw the knee back to center. And as you inhale, reach the leg long, send the arms up and overhead. Another good morning stretch, full breath in. And we'll move this one breath, one movement. Exhale, draw the right knee in. Give it a squeeze. Inhale to send the body long, reach, full breath in. Exhale, left knee in. Inhale to extend. Let's take this one more time, both sides. Next time you inhale, reach the body long. We'll draw the right knee into the chest once again. And then this time you're going to take the left hand on top of the right knee and just draw that knee across the body for supine twist. The right shoulder blade will remain connected to the earth. You might cactus or tee out the right arm. The gaze might come out to the right. And you're just inviting the breath to open up the whole right side body from the hip to the shoulders. Full breath in. Long, smooth, soft breath out. Full breath in. Soft breath out. We'll inhale here once again. And on that exhale, hug the belly button to the spine, draw the knee into the chest. We'll send the leg long, reach the arms overhead, full breath in. Exhale, left knee into the chest. Give it a little squeeze and then draw the knee across the body for the supine twist. And then let the left arm open, maybe into that cactus arm or into a T. Just allowing breath and gravity to settle you into this shape. Remember, this movement, this mindfulness, this breath awareness isn't about how things look. It's all about how things feel. This practice on the mat is aimed to move us in the direction of the state of yoga. And the state of yoga being that of oneness, right? When the personality of ourself merges with that of the collective consciousness, right? And sometimes it feels like a far off goal, and that's okay, but the more present we can stay, the more mindful we can become of our movements, of our breath, the closer we draw in, the closer we move into the state of yoga. The next time you exhale, draw the belly button to the spine. Let that help you bring the knee back to center. Extend the body long. One more good morning stretch. And with an exhale, we'll draw both knees into the chest, either one at a time or both knees together. And just start with hugging the knees into the chest. And you might take some rock and rolls right and left. And you might play around with the location of the legs. So you might then decide to push the legs away a little bit. And just feel into the crest of your pelvis and the muscle, the soft tissue around that bone as you move right and left. Adjust the legs forwards and backwards. And just allow the earth to be a little massage tool for the low back, for the soft tissue around the spine. Let's take one or two more breaths here. And we'll meet back into neutral. And begin to draw the knees as close into the belly as you can. And the arms might help. And now, with the legs as close as they can be, pay attention to the hip flexor, the front of the hip crease. And we'll keep the legs where they're at, but we'll release the arms alongside the body. So you should feel a little fire in the low belly, a little fire in the hip flexor. That's exactly what we want. And then with arms alongside the body, see if you can nuzzle the shoulder blades in so that they're almost touching. And then from here, we'll find some movement. So with your inhale, send the feet to the ceiling like you're stamping the sole of the foot on the sky and reach the arms up overhead. You might touch the arms to the floor behind the head. And then with an exhale, we'll draw the knees back in, release the arms back alongside the body. And we'll just take this a few more. Inhale to extend, exhale to draw in. Inhale to extend. Exhale to draw in. Let's do one or two more. Stopping with the knees and the chest, arms alongside the body, let's come into a reverse tabletop with the legs. So the knees will stack over the hips. You'll press out through the feet like you're standing on them, and the shin bone becomes parallel with the earth. From here, we'll take the palms and we'll press the hands into the thighs. Thighs press back into the hands. So you should feel a little bit of that fire in the belly. And you just want to find what engagement works for you this morning. Continue to nuzzle the shoulder blades together and create some length in the back of the neck. We'll find some gentle movement here. So we'll start with the movement on the right side. Left side stays stable. So press the left hand into the left thigh and keep that left connection solid, stationary. And then right side, we're going to tap the right toes down to the earth and reach the arms overhead. Probably with the exhale, you'll bring back almost like a knee to elbow, or you could connect hand to thigh. Inhale to extend, tap toes, reach the arm. Exhale to draw in. Let's take a few more. If you'd like a little more this morning, you might reach the right leg long and tap the heel down to the earth and draw in. Or you might continue tapping toes down and drawing in. Let's take one more. On this right side, exhale everything out. We'll connect palms back to both thighs. Let's take a breath here. Exhale. And we'll move into the other side. Inhale. Left toes tap. Exhale, draw in. Keep pressing the right hand to the right thigh. And remember, if you'd like a little more, you might extend the left leg, tap the heel down. Let's do one more. Nice job. Let's hug the knees into the chest for just a moment and then release soles of the feet to the earth. From here, we'll move right into our pelvic tilt. So as you inhale, soften the belly, roll the pelvis away from you. So arching the low back. You might be a big arch, it might be a little arch. And then as you exhale, draw the belly button to the spine, roll the pelvis towards you, push the small of the back down into the earth. So inhale to soften the belly, reach away with the pelvis. Exhale to draw in, press the back down into the earth. And as you continue to do this, let's take a few more here. Just feel into the movement of the pelvis. Feel into the connection of the sacrum bone to the low back, the spine. And you might even tune into the movement of the hips, right? So think where the femur bone connects to the pelvis. We'll take one more. And with the exhale, come into neutral for just a moment. If you have a block handy nearby, grab your block and place it in between the thighs. So for a lot of us, closer to the groin feels a little bit better. For others, closer to the knees. It just kind of depends. The idea is that you want to be able to squeeze that block with the inner thighs and create some more stability in the pelvis. And then we're going to work up to a bridge. So from here, just nice stuff. So from here, you'll walk the feet about hip width distance. And in some yoga classes, they might cue that you would be able to touch the heels with the fingertips. And for many of us, it's too much work for the knees. So I invite probably about 5 to 10 inches from the fingertips to the back of the heel. Block in between the thighs, and we're going to continue with that rolling of the pelvis action. So as you exhale, draw belly button to spine. Press the small of the back down into the mat. Feel the length all the way up to the base of the skull. And as you inhale, soften the belly, roll the pelvis away, arch the low back. And then this time as you exhale, draw the belly button to the spine. You'll press a little weight into the feet, squeeze the block, slowly start to lift the hips, and then lower back down one vertebra at a time. Let's take 3 to 5 of these rolling pelvis lifts to make your way into your fullest expression of bridge. Notice how the block helps keep the pelvis stable. Notice how it might increase the workload a little bit. And then when you're ready to settle into your version of your bridge, I invite you to feel into the feet. So hips are lifted, pressing to the sky. And I want you to press down into all 4 corners of the feet, and then slightly, as if you could drag the feet away from you, press away, and see if that helps you lift the hips just a little higher. If this all feels good and you'd like a little more, you might roll the shoulder blades under and bring the hands to clasp behind the low back. Keep squeezing your block, pressing down into the mat, lifting the hips. Let's stay here for 3 more breaths. Full inhale. Soft, smooth exhale. Full breath in. Soft exhale out. One more, just like that. And on the exhale, release the hands if they're clasped, lower down, one vertebra at a time. See if you can really feel each individual bone of the spine connect back down to the earth. Nice job, everyone. Set your block aside. Let's walk the feet wide on your mat. Knees continue to point to the sky. You'll cactus the arms. And then let's draw the knees to one side. The gaze goes the other direction. And we'll just start to float this windshield wipering of the legs with the breath. And you might first notice this action moving from the hip. Notice how that feels. Notice the sensation at the hip joint. And then you might eventually allow the feet to take over. And as the feet begin to control this action, as knees drop to the right, you might press into the left inner foot and get more of a stretch on that left front thigh. And then as you release knees to the left, you might press into that right inner foot, getting a nice front of the thigh stretch on the right side. Let's take a couple more breaths. You might be in movement. You might come to some stillness and enjoy that front of the thigh stretch. And then we'll start to work ourselves back to neutral as you feel even. Let's bring the knees into the chest, give them a little squeeze, and then extend the legs to the sky. Feel into the small of the back pressing down just a little bit, and on an exhale, we're going to reach up, see if we can touch the toes, and then come back down to the mat. We'll exhale, see if we can reach the toes, and then we'll inhale, come back down to the mat. Exhale, inhale. And this time as you exhale, see if you can bring right hand to left toes, so a little reach across. Come back down. Exhale, left hand, right toes. Take a couple more, both sides. And then after you've completed and feel well-rounded, let's bring both arms up, reach the heart to the toes, and then let's lower the arms like you're pointing them to the fireplace or to the front of your mat. So heart's lifted. And then from here, big full breath in. Exhale everything out. Feel the belly button hug in. So we're going to pop into a boat pose. This might not work for everybody. So if it doesn't work for you, you might bend the knees, roll into one side, and come up to seated. If you want to give this a try, you're going to keep the legs extended, reaching through the fingertips. Big full breath in, and on an exhale, come right into your boat. Nice job, everyone. All right, think about lifting the heart a little bit higher. Draw the shoulder blades in. You might want to collect the thighs behind you, right? You might stay lifted. Let's be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release down. Nice job. How we feeling? All right, my dears, let's do our leg wobbles. Just my pants. All right, so couple different options here of how to get into this shape. So option number 1 is to have arms alongside the body and you're pressing hands down into the earth to help lift the spine. Option number 2, which is a little more work on the spine, is to cross the arms and still maintain that length in the spine. So this is kind of 1, 1, and 2. What we're moving into is our leg vibration. So soften the ankles. And we're going to lift one leg at a time, but the point of this is to maintain stability in the pelvis. So right now where you're sitting, I want you to feel into both sits bones and feel if they're even on the earth, right? So sometimes that might take a little adjustment. Yep, moving any fleshy parts out of the way. Right, and then when you find that, because that's the whole goal of this, is to create balance and structure in the pelvis. So any of us who like stood on one side while we were bartending, carry a purse on one side, hold a baby on one side, right? All of these things create that imbalance in the hips, and this is the goal, to bring that back. And it's also very invigorating. So option 1, option 2. We're going to soften the ankles. And then bring your gaze down to the right thigh. Engage the right thigh and actually see yourself lift the right kneecap up. So as you engage the thigh, it usually lifts that kneecap and you feel that, yep, you feel that engagement. And then from here, you'll slowly start to bend that right knee. Keep pressing both hips down, feel that evenness. And then you might stay right here, because this might be enough. This is enough for a lot of folks. Right? If you want a little more, or you want a challenge this morning, you might lift up the right heel just like an inch. Soften the ankle. Yes. Keep pressing both hips down equally. Couple more breaths. You've got it. One more inhale. Exhale, lower down. Nice job. Maybe shake out the hands, give the shoulders a little roll. Do you feel awake yet? Oh, wonderful. Yeah, well, let's do the left side. Good thing we are not spiders. Be a lot of sides to accomplish. All right, I know. I'll be here all week. You came for yoga and all you got was really bad jokes. Okay. Okay, so left side. Gaze at the thigh first. Feel, so body, mind, connect. That's what we're after, is we're engaging as we feel, as we look, as we see, connecting all the senses. Lift that kneecap. I think if you're right side dominant, most of us, that left side's a little harder. And then you'll bend that knee. Keep pressing both hips down equally. And then you might lift the heel. Soften the ankle. Keep pressing both hips down equally. Full breath in. Soft breath out. Full breath in. Soft breath out. Let's do one more. Exhale, soften down. Nice job, everyone. Oh, she's noisy today. How's our comfort level? Okay. Like, oof. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Well. All right, let's do, so we did boat, and then we're kind of breaking down boat. So that's that lifting of the front of the thigh. And now let's put the soles of the feet to the earth, hands behind the thighs, and then draw the shoulder blades together, lift up. And I want you to feel both sits bones into the earth again. It might be a little different just because the legs are bent. So you might not feel the same when the legs are extended, but still feel the evenness from one side to the next. And for me, I have a twisted hip. So this feels a little more challenging to get that evenness, but once you find it, it's like, oh, okay. Really, we're just giving the chance to practice this shape with evenness of the hips. So you want to feel that pressing down on both hips and then lift up the heart, which usually helps to rotate the pelvis more neutrally, and you might feel the hips a little bit easier. And then from here, either hands behind the thighs or on top of the knees, we're going to draw the shoulder blades together and just lean back. And you want to lean back to the point that you start to feel that activation. For some, we feel it in the low belly, so that 50%, right? For some of us, we might feel it under the low rib cage. Draw the low ribs in, keep lifting the heart, and use, like it's kind of like you're lifting, you're zipping up and lifting from the heart to maintain that structure for 5, 4, 3, 2, one more. Full breath in. Exhale, squeeze it in. We'll inhale, come back to neutral. Nice job. Now let's take boat one more time and feel into how it might feel different. So you might start with hands behind, that drawing in, lean back to initiate, and then you might lift a leg, you might lift another leg, you might release hands, right? And notice if this shape now feels more stable. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. We're after the shake. We want to shake. Let's do one more breath in. Nice job, everyone. And we'll exhale, release down. Well done. All right. From here, we'll come into either Omega or easy pose. Whatever's going to be most comfortable for you. We'll inhale, arms up overhead. And let's exhale to the right. So you'll be opposite of me. Because once I do opposites, I get real confused. And then we'll inhale up. And we'll exhale in the other direction. And we'll just float this a few times with the breath. And start to feel in to that nice stretch from the hip all the way to the fingertips. And as you continue to move, you might imagine that you can press the hip down into the earth a little bit more. So you might not get as much depth, but you might feel a better stretch. And the next time you are on your left side, so left hand connected to the earth, we'll pause here. Press down into both hips and use that pressing down to create some length in the spine, and you might reach the heart to the sky a little. And you might drop the shoulder down to the earth a little. So just finding a little bit of rotation now in the spine. So we're in this beautiful side bend. Just finding some articulation of the spine. Little twisting action, a little movement of the arm. My arm might come with and open up and rotate. Let it be sweet. See how sweet you can make this movement. See how sweet you can make the breath. Let's take one more inhale. And with your exhale, find a little stillness. Hug the belly button to the spine and use the belly to lift you back up, and then we'll send it over in the other direction. And again, find that pressing down of both hips first, then create length from that pressing down, inviting the breath to wash over you, and finding just that gentle movement, that gentle articulation, feeling into the sweetness of how the body breathes herself, how the breath moves us, guides us, can hold our attention. We'll take one more inhale. On that exhale, we'll come into neutral, hug the belly button to spine, use that to lift up. We'll bring both arms overhead. Just kidding, we're gonna release arms down to the knees. If you're in easy pose, you'll switch the cross of your ankles. If you're in Omega, you'll just stay right where you're at. And then we'll bring arms back up, full breath in. Exhale to the left, and you'll release hands down to the floor, to a knee. We won't stay here long, so inhale back up. Exhale, rotate in the other direction, release the arms down. Let's take this a couple times, both sides. So as you move, tune into the sensation of the mid-back. So think where a bra strap might land in the center of your back, and see if you can rotate from that area just a little more. The next time you land on your right side, we'll pause here in the twist. Find the hips, press down into the hips, and then inhale to create length. You might twist from the core, twist from the spine, and let the arms be more of support rather than torquing you into a deeper twist, right? So really allowing the body, the muscles around the spine to guide the action. We'll take another breath in here. Exhale everything out. We'll inhale to slowly unwind. You'll keep your left hand on the right knee and bring the right hand over. Bring the right hand over, and then chin to chest. Create a little bit of that lifting action. So nice stretch in the front, nice stretch in the back. Breathe in, feel that space across the shoulder blades. One more breath in. Exhale, soften your grip, release arms, inhale, arms overhead. And we'll exhale to the left. Press the hands down, press the hips down into the earth. Lift the spine and rotate from the center of yourself. So feel into the core, feel into the muscle, the soft tissue around the spine, the mid-back, and really allowing this to be what moves you, this to be what guides the twist. And the arms are just there for a little support. Let's take another full breath in. Soft breath out. We'll slowly start to unwind, moving back into our twist. So right hand stays connected, left hand comes over, and then chin to chest, reach the heart to the sky. Let's take another breath in. Exhale to soften the arms. We'll inhale, reach overhead, full breath in. And on an exhale, we'll release hands in front of us. And let's just go ahead and sway into a little forward fold. So you might find some depth in this, you might not. If you are in easy pose, you're just kind of playing around. If you're in Omega, I invite you to press the knife edge of the foot closer in, and that's going to help to create a little more openness, a little more external rotation in the hip. And you might just sway into this. You might find some stillness. Think about keeping the hips heavy as you lengthen the spine. Maybe even bring chin to chest and feel that stretch in the back of the neck. We'll take one more inhale here. Exhale everything out. Hug the belly button to the spine. We'll inhale, lift up. And we'll make our way into our tabletop. And as you arrive into your tabletop, let's just take some organic movement, what we call our lion's dance. So no real specifics, no real structure, just moving the body around in this shape. You might explore the hips, you might explore the shoulders, you might explore the wrists and the ankles, even the fingertips as you move, the roots of the fingers. And then we'll find some evenness, making our way into a stationary tabletop. Check in, so take a look between your thighs and see if both shin bones are coming directly straight out from the knee. And if they're not, see if you can bring them a little more straight, and then either toes tuck or tops of the feet press into the earth. It doesn't matter which one, right? Just that it's comfortable for the lower half of the body. We're creating a little more stability. As you exhale, hug the belly button to the spine, press the hands into the earth, arch the back. Your cat pose. Inhale, soften the belly, and imagine you can reach the heart through the collarbones. Gaze just about 10 inches above the fingertips. Exhale to round your spine. Inhale to soften the belly. And just notice if how you oriented your shin bones now creates a different sensation in the hips. We're creating that smoothness in the spine, that awakening. Let's take one more. Exhale everything out, find your cat back, and then press into the hands, reach the hips towards the heels. You're coming into a variation of child's pose. We won't be here long. So chin to chest, and think more about length in the spine. So it's like you could really puff up through the heart, reaching into the sky, and creating a little drag along the arms, or reaching through the fingertips, right? You want to feel that openness in the whole upper back. And you might sway the hips a little side to side. For some of us, that can find some more openness. For some of us, we might even tent the fingers. Continue to roll the shoulder blades together like you could lift the armpits to the sky. Let's take one more breath here. Exhale everything out. We'll soften the arms down on your next inhale, and you'll make your way into whatever variation of a child's pose feels good. So you might widen the knees a little bit, making room for yourself. You might stay right where you're at. Just take a moment here. You might even revisit your intention. You might come back to where you're pointing your arrow for this practice, for this week, for this season ahead. Take another full breath in. Soft breath out. We'll move into our earth flow. So, from your child's pose, you might walk the knees in a little closer so that you're almost in that hip width distance. And then press down into the shin bones. We're going to rise up to stand on the knees. Arms will reach overhead. And as you settle into this shape, I want you to think about pressing down into the knees and almost like a camel pose. You're pressing the glutes into the hips to create that pressing forward, length on the front of the body. Shoulder blades nuzzle in towards one another and then chin to chest. So for some of us, we might be in like a little bit of a wider Y, right? Because this can feel really constricting for a lot of us. So think about once you draw those shoulder blades together, what creates openness across the chest, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. We'll take another full breath in here. And on an exhale, press the shin bones down into the earth. We're going to lower back down into our child's pose. With your inhale, we'll rise up into a tabletop, tucking the toes. On your exhale, let's press hips to heels and then press into the hands, downward facing dog. Nice job, everyone. And we're going to flow this a few times. So inhale, come back to your tabletop. Gaze just about 10 inches above the hands. Create length in the spine. Release the toes. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale to rise up, chin to chest, hug the glutes. Exhale to lower down. Child's pose. Nice job. We'll inhale, tabletop. Tuck the toes. Exhale, hips to heels, downward facing dog. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, rise up on the knees. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more round. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, rise up, standing on the knees. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, hips to heels, downward facing dog. Nice job, everyone. And as you settle into this shape, maybe you pedal it out. If it feels like you need a little less pressure on the wrists or on the shoulders, walk the feet a footprint closer to the face and take the feet wider. So that you're still in this upside down shape, but now you're giving the shoulders and the wrists a little more space. Take another couple breaths here, just exploring the shape. You might bend one knee, bend the other, send the hips to one side, to the other. And just a chance to feel into this first inversion, this upside down shape. Let's take another breath here. And on the exhale, start to gaze forward and walk the feet to meet the hands, coming into a forward fold. And maybe this first forward fold you take a little bit wider. Bend the knees and allow the torso to melt over or melt through the thighs. Couple options with the arms. You could just let them connect to the earth or to a block. If they do connect to the earth, you might see if you can work the fingertips in line with the toe tips, but maybe not. If that's not calling to you, you might interlace fingers at either elbow. Nuzzle the shoulder blades together and let the head and the neck dangle. Whatever you do, see if you can find just a little more softness in the neck, a little more softness between the shoulder blades. Let's take a full breath in together.
Soft, smooth, steady breath out. 2 more just like that. Full breath in. Smooth breath out. 1 more. Exhaling, releasing the hands down to the earth if they're not there already. We'll inhale, come into our half lift. So hands might glide up the thighs or up to the thighs. And then in this half lift, imagine you're looking out over a cliff. So weight is in the toes, you're light in the heels. And it's really like that gazing out action. Draw the shoulder blades together, belly button to spine. Create some length here. And then with an exhale, we'll melt back down. We'll inhale, half lift. Exhale, melt down. We'll inhale, half lift. Exhale, melt down. Grab your block. Let's place the block in between the thighs. And the next time you feel like rising up on your inhale, let's bring the heel of the hand into the hip crease and start to sink back like you're sitting in a chair. Squeeze that block like your life depended on it. And then from here, keep squeezing that block. See if you can lift the kneecaps now. So adding on a little. And then you're pressing the heel of the hand down into the hip crease to lift the spine. So the legs stay stationary. Nice job. Continue hugging the belly button to the spine, creating that lift. So squeeze, lift, lift. Drawing the shoulder blades together. If this all feels good and you want a little more still, you might bring hands to heart center. Or you might open wide first to give the shoulder blades some space and open up into a large Y. Stay here for a couple more breaths. You've got this. Full breath in. Soft breath out. Full breath in. Soft breath out. Another full inhale. Exhale, we'll release hands down, bring them to the hips. You're going to press into the feet, and then like a camel pose, press the hips forward, but keep squeezing that block to maintain stability. Yep. Draw the shoulder blades together. You might stay right here and lift the heart to the sky. If you want a little more, you might bring arms overhead. Keep pressing down into the feet, lifting from that bra strap line, the mid-back, the back of the heart. Another full inhale. And we'll exhale, release the arms down. We'll release the block to the side. Nice job, everyone. How we feeling? Awake? All right, my dears. Let's go ahead, step wide. So you might have to negotiate on the mat, negotiate with your neighbor. And Bobby, if you want to remove that blanket, you'll have you'll have more sticky mat. That might feel better because sometimes you're really working when you're on a blanket, which is it's its own practice in of itself, right? So like practice without a mat. All right, so legs wide, you're extending the arms out first to check in that the ankles are below the wrists. So we want some openness. And then we'll release hands back to the hips. And then pivot the right, so pick up the toes on the right side, and then you're just pivoting on that heel and setting the foot down. Left toes will turn in. So then if you check now, you should be about heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. And this is your warrior two stance. Activate this back leg. So press into the knife edge of the back leg and feel that channel all the way up. Activate the left glute, and you should feel some openness in that front left thigh. From here, you're using the power of this left leg to bring you into the lunge. Press into the front heel, and now hopefully both feet feel equal. You're not just hanging out in that front leg, that front thigh. You should feel a little more support of that back leg. And now imagine you could draw both legs together like you were closing a pair of scissors. Feel that lift in the pelvis. And now imagine you're holding in a fart. Right? And that's going to activate all 8 muscles of the pelvic floor. And then from here, extend the arms, gaze out over your front middle finger. Nuzzle the shoulder blades in together. And you want to feel into that sensation of pressing down with the feet, but yet lifting up from the center of yourself. We'll take another few breaths here. Inhale fully. Exhale softly. Inhale, fill the body. Exhale. One more, just like that. Full breath in. Exhale. We'll release the hands down. Bring the right thumb and pointer finger to the hip crease. Pick up the right toes and press into the big toe mound. As you straighten that front leg, we're moving into our triangle. So you're going to continue to press that right hip down and nuzzle that right hip underneath the left. Yep. And this front leg, keep that right knee bent, and that's going to protect the knee joint. So the best way is thinking lifting that kneecap again. Right? And so notice how this shape might feel different than any other triangle you've tried. And then you might release the right hand to the knee, to a shin, to a block. But the idea is they're keeping both side bodies lifted. Right now this becomes a lot more about these obliques, drawing those inner thighs together, creating that lift. So it's like you're drawing from both feet and lifting up. Yes. Yeah. And then if this feels good and you want a little more, you might lift that left arm. Right? So sometimes you see this shape like this, but we want to create that lift. We want to create that up, that invigorated feeling, right? So we're lifting that up. Beautiful, everyone. So right hand to right knee, or to right, yep. And think about the front leg being straight, the back leg being straight, and that right hip is nuzzling under. Yep. So this is really good for both hips. It's a good hip stretch and strengthen. And you probably feel a little bit on the side too. All right, we've been here long enough. One more breath in. We'll exhale everything out. We'll inhale back up. Let's pivot on the right heel. Bring toes parallel to the short edge of the mat. And then from here, hands back to the hips. Hug the inner thighs together to create that lift in the pelvis. And then we'll draw shoulder blades together and dive forward. You might come to about halfway. You might find a block and release the arms to the block. You might start to lower down, release the hands to the earth. Coming into this wide-legged forward fold, you might come in a bit farther, bringing hands into behind you or around the ankles. Right, a couple different versions here. And whatever you do, see if you can bring a little more weight into the toes, almost as if you could lift up off the heels. And just notice how that allows for a little more engagement in the legs. And then once again, lift the kneecaps, engage the front of the thigh. Soften the neck if you're in the forward fold. Take another breath in. Another breath out. Another breath in. Another breath out. Hugging the belly button to the spine, we'll inhale, half lift. You might come hands under the face. And then from here, we're going to move into our Skandasana, which is one of my favorites. So you'll just have to play around with what the feet want to do. So we're going to bend the right knee. The hands and everything might follow. So think like half squat on the one side. Right heel might lift up. It might stay down. It just depends on your architecture. And then left toes you could keep down if that feels good. You could come up if that feels good. We'll stay here for another breath. Exhale everything out. And then we'll switch to the other side. So we'll inhale back through our wide leg stance and then lower in the opposite direction. Well done. Take a breath in. Breath out. And then we'll just move from one side to the next. Hands might guide this action. Allow your breath to move you. If you want a little more, if this feels good, you might even bring hands to heart center, right? And then you're switching from one side to the next. And it becomes also a balanced pose. Pretty challenging. Should feel nice for that groin, for the whole inner thigh. All right, my dears. As you start to feel even, as you start to feel nice and stretched out, we'll make our way back into that wide leg forward fold. Once again, bring the weight into the toes. Lift the kneecap. Shake out the head, yes and no. Full breath in. Soft breath out. From here, we'll lift up halfway. And let's go and take a twist. So if you've got a block, let's find your block so that you can lift the hands up a little bit. We'll actually just really bring the floor closer to you. And then we're going to work that left palm in the center, so right underneath the face. And then hug the inner thighs together, and you'll inhale, right arm lifts to the sky. So you're using that hugging in action of the inner thigh to help stabilize the pelvis, to bring some balance to the hips, and then rotating from the mid-back. We'll take one more full breath in. And as you exhale, release the right arm down to the block or to the earth. And then we'll inhale, keep hugging the inner thighs together in the opposite direction. Create length in the back of the neck. So almost like you could bring chin to chest. We'll take another full breath in. Soft breath out. We'll inhale here. And with an exhale, we'll bring both hands down to the earth. Stay in this halfway lift position. Hug the inner thighs together. Bring the hands to the hips. And then we'll rise all the way back up. Nice job. All right, from here, let's pick up the toes on the left side. So you'll pivot at the heel. And then your right toes will turn in a little bit. So we're coming into a warrior two on the other side. And we're finding that activation in the back leg first. So feel that whole leg active. Press into the knife edge, the long edge of the foot. Active right glute, active front of the thigh. And you're using this to bring you into the lunge. Press into the front heel and hug the inner thighs together. Lift up in the pelvic floor. And just notice how that creates lift, how that creates balance and evenness from foot to foot. And then we'll extend the arms, gaze out over the front middle finger. Full breath in. Exhale everything out. Another full breath in. Exhale everything out. Couple more. Let's take one more breath here. We'll exhale, release hands down to the hips. Pointer finger and left thumb come into that hip crease. And as you start to straighten that front leg, press into the big toe mound. So you lift the toes, press into that toe mound to lengthen the leg. Yep. And then you're continuing to nuzzle that left hip under. And then rotate the heart to the sky. You might work the left hand down to a knee to a shin, right arm might extend to the sky. Feel that lift in the side bodies. Keep dragging both feet towards one another. We'll be here for another few breaths. Full inhale. Soft breath out. Full breath in. Soft breath out. One more. We'll exhale, release the hands down. We'll inhale, rise up, back into that warrior two. And then from here, we'll turn both feet parallel to the short edge of the mat again. And then this time you're picking up the toe, you're rolling onto the toes and then drawing the heel in. So toes point out, heel in, and we're just coming into our little goddess pose. So let's start with just some back and forth with the hips. And think about lengthening the sacrum down to the earth. So you're lifting the front of the pelvis up and lengthening the tailbone down. And then we'll come into some stillness. Draw the shoulder blades together. Lift the heart. Full breath in. Exhale, drop a shoulder down to the earth. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, opposite shoulder down to the earth. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Take one more, both sides. Part of this is that you forget that you're in a squat. No, I don't. Nice job. From here, we'll step together, or if you want, you might hop together. Nice job, everyone. Give yourselves a round of applause. That could be, is that an imbalance? Oh. Oh. That's okay. You'll just be walking in circles for the rest of the day. Yeah, probably needed it. All right, my dears, let's make our way onto the mat. Let's come onto the belly. We'll do a little bit of stuff for the arms, for the neck, for the head, all the stuff. I should have cued this a little bit better. Okay, so from the belly, let's walk the fingertips in line. So your forehead's going to be down on the ground. My forehead's lifted just so I can talk to you. So fingertips come in line with the chest or with the nipples. Press the feet down into the earth. So think lengthen the legs, tops of the feet pressing into the earth, and then lengthen the sacrum bone down to the toes. So it's like you're lifting the front of the pelvis and rolling the back of the pelvis down towards the feet. Draw the shoulder blades together. Lift the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale everything out. And on an inhale, you'll peel the heart off the mat. Gaze might not lift. For most of us, having some length in the back of the neck feels a lot better. Exhale, let's melt back down. Let's inhale, half lift. Exhale, melt back down. Let's take a few more just like that. Continue to nuzzle the shoulder blades together, pressing in the feet, lengthening the tailbone down to the earth. Last one. Inhale. And let's ride the breath. Stay lifted. Keep pressing into the tops of the feet, lengthening the tailbone away, drawing the shoulder blades together for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower all the way down. You might interlace fingers underneath the forehead. You might bring arms alongside the body and rest an ear to the mat. Just let the belly soften. Let the back soften. Full breath in. Smooth breath out. Another full breath in. Smooth breath out. From here, let's walk the hands back in line with the fingertips back in line with the chest. And then forehead's on the earth. And then from here, you're just walking the hands directly out off the mat so that there's a 90-degree bend in the elbow. We're going to do that same action of pressing down into the feet, lengthening the tailbone down to the toes or down to the earth. Right, so feeling that support of the lower half of the body. Draw the shoulder blades together. And then on an inhale, we'll peel the heart up. Exhale, lower back down. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades together. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Let's take one more like that. Stay lifted. And this time as you exhale, drop right shoulder down to the earth. Ear might follow. Inhale to rise back up. Exhale, left shoulder. Inhale up. Exhale, shoulder down. Inhale up. Exhale, shoulder down. Let's do one more both sides, because I know everyone loves this. It's really good for the neck and for the shoulders. And this time we'll lower all the way down. Again, you might interlace fingers underneath the forehead. Rest the body. You probably did. You probably did. All right, my dears, we're going to do one more stretch for the front of the chest before we settle back onto the back. So from where you're at, you'll extend the right arm out directly from the shoulder like a T. And then hug that shoulder blade back in, and you'll press the palm into the earth. Right ear comes to the mat, and bend the left knee. Left hand comes to about the left shoulder, and you're starting to roll onto the right side, and that left foot might connect to the earth. Beautiful. And the more that you press down into the right arm, from palm to think bicep, the deeper the stretch becomes across the body. And if you have more mobility and you want a little more, like Carissa, this might feel good in your body. You would lower that left foot to the earth. Yep. And then press, so keep rotating the hips to your left, and then you put the right sole of the foot on the earth. So find a breath here. Exhale everything out. Let's take one more inhale. And on the exhale, you'll unwind, come back onto the belly. Give that right arm a breath, just where it is, before you want to bring it back. Let it kind of settle, and then bring it back onto the mat, and we'll set up for the other side. So left arm extends, right knee bends, left ear to the mat. Hug that left shoulder back into the socket first, and then when you start to roll, you should feel a deeper stretch, and you're connecting that right foot to the ground. Nice job, everyone. It could be on the ground, or you could bring a block underneath like a pillow. Yeah. And you might adjust the shoulder head a little bit too. Yep. As long as it's comfortable for you to hold your head, it's okay that it's up. Because sometimes having the head down feels nice too. Yeah, and then if you want a little more, you would bring both soles of the feet. No, I'm saying that is it, right? I'm cueing you to where you already went. We'll take another breath in. As you exhale, we'll go ahead and make our way back onto the belly, bringing that right knee back to the earth. Let the left arm settle extended for just a moment. It's a lot of information that we gave it. And then work the arm back. And then from here, let's go ahead and come onto the back. So you'll just roll wherever you're at. Let's reach the body long. One good morning stretch. Full breath in. We'll exhale right knee to chest. Give it a little squeeze. Inhale, extend. Exhale, left knee in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, both knees one at a time or both together. Give them a little squeeze, massage the low back. We'll set the soles of the feet down to the earth. Nuzzle the shoulder blades in together and then cross the right ankle over the left. Keep the right ankle in a 90-degree bend. This helps protect the inside of the right knee. And you might stay right here in this figure 4. You might want a little more and pick up the left foot and help guide the right leg a little closer. You might interlace fingers behind the left thigh or over the left shin. You might find some stillness or you might find a little sway. One final option that I'll offer that I really love is thinking about arching the low back. So you might not actually arch, but it's in that direction, and pressing the hips down into the earth. So there's still a drawing in, but also a rolling away of the pelvis. And for some of us, that can really deepen the stretch. Let's take another full breath in. Exhale everything out. One more full breath in. And with an exhale, we'll release the grip of the hands, lower the left foot to the earth, extend the right leg to the sky, and then as slow and as stable as you can, lower that right leg down to the earth extended. As soon as the leg connects to the earth, you'll slide on the heel, bring the knee back to the sky, and then we'll set up for the other side. Cross the left ankle over the right. You might stay right here in figure 4, or you might draw the right leg in. Keep the left ankle 90 degrees to protect the interior of the knee. And then again, if you tried that on the other side, see if you can arch the back just a little bit and roll the hips, press them down into the earth. Full breath in. Smooth, soft breath out. One more, just like that. Exhale, let it all go. Releasing the right foot down to the earth. We'll extend the left leg high, and then as slow as you can, lower that leg down to the earth. As the heel connects to the earth, you'll slide the foot back in. And then let's make our way into happy baby, drawing both knees towards the armpits. Hands come to either ankles or to the soles of the feet. And then imagine you could press your feet to the sky. And that same action that we did in our figure 4, see if you can press the hips down and create a slight arch in the back. Press the feet up and pull them down at the same time. And just notice how this changes the stretch of this shape. We'll take another full breath in. Soft breath out. Full breath in. Soft breath out. One more inhale. And on your exhale, draw the knees in. And if there's anything else that's calling to you, maybe a shoulder stand, legs up the wall, a supported bridge pose, take a few moments to explore the shape that is calling to you. And as you're ready, taking your time, making your way into your final resting posture. Shavasana in any form, in any shape. As you settle into your final resting posture, call to heart one last time your intention. Breathe it into the heart center and let it go, trusting that you are able, you are willing, you are curious to follow the guidance of your heart. And as we take some time in this resting posture, the mind will wander. I invite you to let awareness rest in the breath, becoming fully absorbed in the body breathing itself. Letting this practice, this movement, this mindfulness integrate in the system, integrate you into the state of yoga. We'll be here for a few more moments and I'll call you out when we're done. If the busyness of the mind continues to wander, as you inhale, think Sat. As you exhale, Nam. Sat, Nam. I am that. I bless the night that nourished my heart, to set the ghosts of longing free, into the flow and figure of dream that went to harvest from the dark, bread for the hunger no one sees. All that is eternal in me welcomes the wonder of this day, the field of brightness it creates, offering time for each thing to arise and illuminate. I place on the altar of dawn the quiet loyalty of breath, the tent of thought where I shelter, waves of desire I am sure to, and all beauty drawn to the eye. May my mind come alive today to the invisible geography that invites me to new frontiers, to break the dead shell of yesterday, to risk being disturbed and charged. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but to do at last what I came here, and waste my heart on fear no more. Dear soul, begin to deepen your breath, inviting in the wonder of the new day, being led by your heart, being led by your intention. Gently invite some movement back to the body, waking up the body quietly and slowly, wiggling toes and fingers, rolling out ankles and wrists. Drawing knees to chest and rolling onto your side in a fetal position. Taking a moment in this shape of rebirth, this shape of new beginning. How will you step off your mat and out into the world? How will you take this practice and let it guide you? The real work of yoga begins now. When you are ready, using your top arm to gently press up to seated. Your gaze, your eyes staying drawn in. We'll close this time together with 3 Om. You may listen or join along. Let's take a connecting breath together. Exhale everything out. We'll inhale the sound. Drawing hands to heart center in Anjali or Hridaya Mudra, which is left hand on the heart, right hand over top. Bowing the head to the heart, repeating quietly with great respect and love, I honor my heart, my inner teacher. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings in all 3 worlds be happy and be free from suffering. Dear soul, thank you so much for showing up today and doing something so kind for your body, your mind, and your soul, as well as all those you are in service to. And thank you for allowing me to guide you this morning. It's my honor and privilege to be here. the light in me, the light in you. It is the same. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey.